Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are students from class 5 BMHG and we are going to discuss about the mid-air collision over Überlingen, Germany. A short summary about this incident. This incident was involved by a Bashirian Airlines flight 2937 and a DHL flight 611 Boeing 757 and all 71 passengers and crew on board killed in this incident. And this is the chronology of this incident. At first, the Tupolev Tu-154 takeoff and cruise at level 36,000 feet. And then the pilot of the Boeing 757 requests to climb from 26,000 feet to 36,000 feet. And the Boeing 757 gained access to climb to 6,000 feet. A few moments later, the TCAS of the Boeing 757 detect a plane approaching and instruct the Boeing 757 to descend, while the TCAS for the Tu-154 instruct to climb. At the moment, the radar controller instruct the Tu-154 to descend, while the TCAS instruct to climb. And then because of the pilot Tu-154 still follow the radar controller instruction, which is to descend, both plane descend at the moment and collide approximately at the 35,000 feet. And this is our panelists today, which is Shaheen, Nazmi, Afirul, myself, Amiruddin, and Hizwan Haikal. And I will pass the mic to Nazmi to continue the discussion.
So the system that is being used to avoid mid-collision is TCAS, which is basically the modern aircraft. All of the modern aircraft is equipped with TCAS. So the function of the TCAS is to avoid mid-collision or to give the alert to the pilot if there is any threat or there is another plane that come in the same direction. So the TCAS will aid the pilot whether to descend or ascend in order to avoid the mid-air collision. So basically TCAS have three versions, which are for version 1, which is a basic system which will only provide nearby aircraft. Version 2 will provide the instruction for the pilot to avoid the collision. Version 3, which will provide a lateral instruction, whether to bank into the left or to the right. So the component involved in TCAS is receiver or transmitter. Or transmitter is a typical black box assembly and is mounted in the aircraft electronic compartment. Top directional antenna, which are connected to the TCAS computer using 4 coaxial cable. Next is bottom omnidirectional antenna, which is same as the ATC transponder antenna. And lastly, control panel, which is to control the TCAS. Next, I will pass to Shahid.
Okay, I will explain about the principal operation of TCAS. Basically, TCAS operate independently of any ground-based installation. TCAS does not depend on any device. TCAS use air traffic control tower to detect any presence of aircraft. TCAS have the same frequency as the air traffic control sensor, which is 1030 MHz. Okay. As we can see from the picture, air traffic controller transmit the interrogation with frequency of 1030 MHz to the aircraft one. Then the transponder on nearby aircraft receive the interrogation and will send reply at 1090 MHz. The air traffic control tower will transmit squitter signal. Squitter signal is a random signal that transmit within an area. It is to identify the transmitting aircraft once every second. TCAS that equipped on aircraft in the area within the squitter signal, we monitor the 1090 MHz frequency. The TCAS equipped on aircraft will then interrogate each of the aircraft. The aircraft which receive the signal then replies and received by the TCAS antenna. The TCAS antenna is a directional antenna which is mounted on top of the aircraft fuselage. The antenna provides the capability to determine the bearing of the intruder. I will pass to Hizwan Aikan.
I will interpret about the information display involved in the system. One of them is the climb or descent order from TCAS to the pilot, which, as in the incident, TCAS on flight 611 instructed the pilot of the aircraft to descend, while TCAS on Russian aircraft ordered to climb. Traffic advisory and resolution advisory also involve as information display in the system. Next. Before I explain more about traffic advisory and resolution advisory, I want to explain the head of the system, which is TCAS. TCAS, as its name, it's an aircraft collision avoidance system. Generally, TCAS will advise pilot on nearby aircraft position and also instruct the pilot in avoiding collision by voice, climb or descent. Next. As you can see in the picture, this is transponder panel. TCAS controlled by transponder panel. From there, it can be turned on or off the TCAS system. Also, as in the picture, you also can toggle to enable traffic advisory only or both traffic advisory and resolution advisory. Next. And now I will explain about the traffic advisory and resolution advisory that involves in the system. Traffic advisory is the first level of warning which are given to the pilot in form of word traffic, which will be displayed in yellow on the navigation display. And also will produce the oral voice annunciation traffic. Resolution advisory, it is the highest alert level which will give visual and oral instruction to the flight crew to climb or descend in order to avoid a probable collision. The intruder can be identified on the navigation display by a red solid square. And next, for what causes in this incident, I will pass to Afirul.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Hafirul and I will continue this presentation about the causes of the accident. According to the investigation and the report from the authorities, there are few significant causes that contribute to the accident. Firstly, the causes is human errors and fatigue. It is because on the day of the accident, only one radar controller that in charge at the station because the other colleague is resting at the staff lounge. So, in that situation, it caused the increase of workload for the particular radar controller. During the situation is crowded and busy, the person in charge can lead to do human errors. If a radar controller doing a mistake, it will cause huge problem and danger to the aircraft. Next, the improper maintenance is the second cause of the accident. During the radar controller on duty, the engineer entered the room and informed that they will performing the maintenance for the system. So the radar controller are fully rely on the backup system for monitoring and guide the aircraft. Because of the system undergoes the maintenance, it caused the radar alerting a bit delay and no backup for ground communication between the tower, which is telephone. Because of that, it increased the pressure toward the radar controller and caused the radar controller unaware of the dangerous situation. Then the third cause of the accident is rules and regulations by certain country that cause the pilot confused which instructions they should obey. as the regulation of the European aviation grows in 1990s, the traffic of the airlines is increased, and at that time, the aircraft that are from each country need to obey the ATC instruction compared to the TCAS if both are giving instruction at the same time. While the aircraft from the West country, they are allowed to follow TCAS instruction if the ATC and TCAS are giving different order. So due to that, the aircraft Tupolev 154 following the ATC order to descend, while TCAS instructed to climb. Because of the Boeing 757 and Tupolev 154 both are descent, it caused the plane collide at approximately 35,000 feet. Last but not least, the cause of the accident is poor management common practice. These causes are the reason of the accident because it against the regulations for the tower controller. During that time, the regulation are to have at least one backup for the person in charge at the tower. But during the accident, Peter Nielsen are the only controller on duty and to handle two workstations while other colleagues are resting. So that's all for me. I will pass to the Amiruddin.
Thank you, Afirul. And now I will talk about the solution to increase the safety and awareness towards aircraft collision. My first point is to prioritize TCAS over ATC. Why should prioritize TCAS over ATC? This is because the purpose of TCAS itself is to avoid collision from happen. ATC at the other hand, ATC purpose is to separate traffic. My second point is to have a proper break schedule and rules for the ATC personnel. This is because, as were mentioned before by Afirul, during the incident, there should be two air traffic controller. But then one went for a break and leaving Peter Nielsen alone. Due to that, Peter Nielsen need to in charge and in charge at the moment. And due to the increase of the workload, he did not manage to solve this issue, although he managed to detect the problem earlier. And my last point is to have a proper tower facilities maintenance with backup provided. As we actually during that time, Peter Nielsen tried to contact the other tower to mention this problem to the other tower, but then due to the telephone was under maintenance, Peter Nielsen failed to failed to reach the other tower to inform this matter. Therefore, by having a proper tower facilities maintenance with backup provided, I think we can increase the safety and awareness towards the aircraft collision. That's all from us regarding this issue and discussion. Thank you.